Hello guys, welcome back to Riding Academia. We are still on our series on the partnership accounts, right? And then we started the goodwill accounting, okay, accounting for goodwill. Now in our last video, we looked at how we treat the goodwill or how our balance sheet look like in a case where the goodwill is retained in the books, okay, in the books of accounts. In this particular video, we're going to be looking at the second instance, okay, which is how our account will look like, or how goodwill will be treated if it is not to be retained in the books of accounts. All right, now we're going to be using the same illustration, but in this case we're going to be preparing the account for where goodwill is not retained in the books of accounts. Okay, now we have that A and B had been in partnership business, sharing profit and losses in the ratio 2:1 respectively. That is the old profit sharing ratio, right? And then at 31st December 1996, the balance sheet of the partners were as follow. Okay, we have all the details written, and then we have that on the 1st of January 1997, C was admitted into the partnership to take 1/5 of profit or losses, okay, why the relative profit sharing ratio of A and B remain the same, that is still 2:1. All right, so I'll be showing you how to calculate for the new profit sharing ratio. All right, then we have that C paid the sum of 4,500 for his capital, and goodwill was valued at 6,000 naira. All right, and then we want to show the ledger entries necessary upon the admission of C and the balance sheet after the admission. All right, but in this case, like I said, this is the second instance where we'll be looking at how the account will look like where goodwill is not retained in the books of account. All right, so our goodwill account will be having it's going to be similar to that in our previous video. All right, it's going to be similar to our previous video. Okay, now we're going to be sharing when the value of goodwill, that is that 6,000 naira, we're going to be sharing it among the old partners. Those are the people that are going to be benefiting from the the goodwill that was valued. Okay, it's going to be added to their capital. Are we doing like we calculated in our previous video? So our partner A will be having 4,000 naira as calculated, and then partner B will be having 2,000 naira to give us a sum total of 6,000. All right, this is going to be our sum total. Now, like I said, this illustration is for where goodwill is not retained in the books of account. All right, so quickly, like we have said, is that goodwill is going to be having a direct effect on the capital account. All right, so this is, we're going to prepare our capital account. All right, we're going to prepare our capital account still similar to what we have done. We are going to come back and adjust for goodwill account. All right, but I want to take us through the process. All right, that's why I've not closed my goodwill account. I'm taking us through the process and then we'll adjust. Okay, this is our capital account, right? For our balance brought forward, for those partners that were already there, okay, our balance brought forward here, we are having 8,500, and then for B we are having 3,500. All right, C doesn't have a balance brought forward. All right, and then like I said, the people that are going to be benefiting from this goodwill is just the old partners. All right, so for goodwill that was calculated, we are having 4,000 for A and then 2,000 for B. All right, lastly, we have the capital that was introduced by C. Okay, like I said, we are going to taking note of that in the bank, which is 4,500 naira. All right, now I say that this instance, while we're looking at the second instance where goodwill is not retained in the books of account. All right, goodwill is not retained in the books of account. Now after we have taken note of goodwill for the old partners, we want to write goodwill off. Writing goodwill off means we want to close, or we don't want the goodwill account to be seen in the balance sheet. So we want to bring this balance, like we want to minus, let me just use that word. We want to remove the goodwill account. Okay, so we have taken note of the goodwill and then we want to minus the goodwill. All right, so we want to close the goodwill account. All right, so how do we close this account? We close this account now using the new profit sharing ratio. All right, we open the account with the old profit sharing ratio, right, and then only those two old partners benefited from the goodwill. Now when we want to write the goodwill account off, we write it off in the new profit sharing ratio. all right, in the new profit sharing ratio. And then will be also, like I said, it's going to be having a direct effect on capital, all right. So once we're writing it off, it means we're also going to be writing it off from capital's account, all right. So we're going to our workings, okay, to get the value for our new profit sharing ratio, all right. Now from our illustration, we are told that C is going to be taking 1/5 of profit. All right, C will be taking 1/5 of profit, while the relative profit sharing ratio of A and B remains the same. Okay, it means we have to use that 2:1. That means whatever that B is getting, A will be getting twice, okay, or double of it. Okay, that one remains the same, but we'll have to be giving C 1/5. Okay, that's 1/5 of profit. So the first thing we're going to be doing in our workings is that 1/5 of profit. Okay, now if this is for C, C is getting 1/5 of profit. It means if you want to subtract 1/5 from the total, let's assume the total profit is 1, all right. If we subtract 1/5 from the total profit by way of LCM, okay, by way of LCM, we'll be having 5/5 minus 1/5. That is going to be giving us 4/5, all right. We'll be having 4/5 as the balance. Now from this balance, we are told that A and B, their profit sharing ratio is still the same. So that means for the balance, we want to distribute among A and B, okay, A and B, that is 2:1, according to what we have been told. Okay, that's A is getting double of whatever that B has, all right. So we're going to be multiplying 2/3. 2/3 is the old profit sharing ratio for A, all right. 2/3 multiplied by the balance after we have deducted what 1/5, that is the profit for C, all right. That will be giving us multiplication. This is 8/15, all right. And then this is for A, and then for B, we are still having that balance. Okay, this balance after we have subtracted 1/5, the C portion of profit, right? We are getting that C balance multiplied by 1/3. 1/3 is the old profit sharing ratio for B, all right. We are multiplying by 1/3 to be arriving at 4/15. Okay, now we want to make everything to have the same LCM. Okay, this is 4/15, this is 8/15, but here we are having 1/5, that is for C. We're having 1/5. So to make it to at least to be having the same denominator, right, we can multiply all through by 3 up and down. So we can be having the same denominator. We can multiply by 3 up and 3 down. So that means C will be having 1/5. I'm trying to convert it to the same denominator, right? I'm trying to convert it to the same, to have the same denominator. I'm doing a different thing. Okay, I'm not sharing profit anymore. I'm trying to make this C to have the same denominator. All right, so we're going to be multiplying by 3/3 so that we can have the same denominator with the others. Okay, which is going to be giving us 3/15. At this point, it means we have arrived at a new profit sharing ratio. All right, so for our A, we are having 8/15. For our B, we are having 4/15, and lastly for C, we are having 3/15. Like I said, if we want to write off goodwill, if we want to write off the goodwill, okay, we have to write goodwill off in the new profit sharing ratio. So this is our new profit sharing ratio, all right. That's what we're going to be using to write off goodwill, okay, where goodwill is not going to be retained in the books of accounts. So now we're going to be writing off goodwill practically. So the value of our goodwill is 6,000, but we'll be writing it off in the new profit sharing ratio. That is for our A. We're going to be writing off 8/15 times 6,000 naira. Alright, that is goodwill value, to know how much we're going to be writing off for A. So that will be giving us 3,200 naira. Alright, now for our B, the new profit sharing ratio for B is 4/15. Alright, so 4/15 multiplied by goodwill value, we're writing it off, like I said, in the new profit sharing ratio. Alright, so 4/15 multiplied by this, we're going to be having what? 1,600 naira. Alright, and then lastly for C, we are having 3/15 multiplied by goodwill value. That will be giving us 1,200 naira. So this is how we're going to be writing off goodwill. All right, but like I said, we're writing off goodwill in the new profit sharing ratio. That means everybody now is going to be partaking from the writing off of the goodwill. All right, so this is our goodwill account. We want to write off goodwill, that is, we want to close the goodwill account, right? We want to end, or want to subtract the goodwill account, like we want to write off. All right, so for our A, will be like crediting our goodwill account because it's going, more value now is going out. All right, so for our A is going to be giving us 3,200 naira. B is going to be giving us 1,600 naira, and then lastly C will be giving us 1,200 naira. This is going to be bringing the Goodwill account to a close. That means there will be no balance carried down or no balance brought down. At this point, we have closed or we have written off the Goodwill account. But like I said, for every credit entry, we must have a corresponding debit entry. Goodwill has a direct effect on capital account. So as Goodwill value is going out, it means it also be going out from capital. Capital will also be reducing, okay? So here we'll be writing off this same value from capital. So for Goodwill, we're writing this value of capital. So for our A, we are writing off 3,200. For B, we are writing off 1,600. And then lastly, for C, we are writing off 1,200. All right. After we have done this, we can now balance our account. So this is what it looks like when we say we don't want to retain goodwill in the books of account. After we have valued it in the old profit sharing ratio, we write it off in the new profit sharing ratio. All right. Now to balance our account, this is the lesser side, our balance carried down, okay? The sum total on the debit side is 12,500, all right? To have a balance account of 12,500, this is 3,200, so our higher value is 12,500, right? So to balance our account, we'll be having 12,500 minus 3,200, and that will be giving us 9,300. All right. Now for B, the same thing applies. On our debit side, we have 5,000. On our credit side, we have 5,500. On our debit side, we have 1,600. All right, which is lesser. Okay, 1,600 is lesser than 5,500. So to balance our account, we'll be having 5,500 minus 1,600, which will be giving us 3,900. All right, and then lastly for C, okay, we are having 4,500, and then we are having on the debit side 1,200. So to balance off our accounts, we are going to be deducting 1,200, right, from 4,500, which will be giving us 3,300. So let's balance our account quickly. All right, so now we'll be having our balance brought down. Balance brought down is for the next year, okay, our balance brother after I've deducted our goodwill. So our balance brother now is after we have it's the same value with our balance carried down, okay, which is 9,300. We have 3,900, and then we have 3,300 for C. All right, now our bank balance will still be similar, will still be the same, okay, exactly, because goodwill will not affect the bank balance, okay. So our bank balance will be exactly the same thing after we have added that capital, right? So the next thing we're going to be doing now is to be preparing the balance sheet. Now in this case, there's no more goodwill because we have closed the goodwill account. All right, so let's see what our balance sheet will be looking like. All right, let's just make summary. Okay, we're still going to be having that same amount, okay, for fixed assets. We're still going to be having that value for fixed assets, land and building. Our land and building is 5,250. And our plant and machinery, I'll be using P and M. Our plant and machinery is 3,075 naira. So when we add everything, we'll be having 8,325 naira. All right, now like I said, we have written our goodwill off, right? So we're not going to bring in goodwill anymore. All right, goodwill is no longer going to be retained in the book. That's what it automatically means, okay. So next thing we'll be having is the current asset. Okay, here we are still having our closing stock. Our stock value is 4,500. All right, and then our net debtors is 2,850 naira. And then our bank balance after we have added capital, all right, will be increased to 4,800 naira. So that will be giving us 12,150 naira for our current asset. And then after we have less creditor, that is our current liability. After we have less creditors value of 3,975 naira, we'll be arriving at a working capital of 8,175. All right. Now this is work. Okay, let's transfer 8,175. All right. Now this is what we're going to be adding to our fixed asset. Okay, we'll be adding this to our fixed asset to have 16,500 naira. All right. Now the next thing we'll bring in is our finance. Okay, let's bring in our finance. That is capital. Let's bring in our capital, right? So for A, after making our adjustment, our balance brought down for A is 9,300 naira. All right. Our balance brought down for B is 3,900 naira. And then lastly, our balance brought down for C, that's our capital balance, right, is 3,300 naira. All right. So when we add this, we'll be having what? The same 16,500 naira. So this is what it means, or this is how we prepare our accounts, or the steps we follow when goodwill is not retained in the books of accounts. All right. In our next video, we're going to be looking at how to treat the revaluation account. Okay, still on the partnership, we'll be looking at how to treat revaluation of assets. All right. Now don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our account, subscribe to our channel if you haven't, all our social media handles. Okay, and then share our video with as many as you can. We'll see you in our next class. Thank you.